Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Thursday, working towards the weekend for most. The weekend starts this afternoon. I hope that's the case for you. If it is, we'll get you to the finish line. If not, we'll take you as far as we can go on this Thursday because we will not be here on Good Friday. Our Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. We do have Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. And we got to pack two shows into one here, so let's get it all done. We will start with Jay Johnson talking yesterday to the media. We got a football practice report from today on the Ponderosa. We've got a free one up at LouisianaSports.net you can read, but I'll give you my thoughts coming up here in 15 minutes. Joe Healy will preview the SEC weekend, which starts really with 6 series tonight, so we'll talk to Joe at 1:30. Final Fours coming up this weekend. I want to touch on that. Chris Blair will be with us in the second hour. We'll talk some Saints, and I got to get you ready for LSU and Tennessee as well, a big one from Knoxville. But we're going to start with what Jay Johnson had to say yesterday regarding Major League Baseball. Let's do that with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Jay Johnson, I've learned how he handles the media. I've learned. He rarely will speak on anything that is relative to competition. If he doesn't feel it gives him a competitive advantage, or maybe more clearly said, if he feels like something he says might give away a competitive advantage, he's not going to say it. He's not going to tell you who his starting pitcher is. He's not going to tell you why this guy played or why that guy played more often than not. Sometimes at the end of a regional, he might do that, or at the end of a weekend, he might do that. He's not going to give you much injury information. He's not. He's happy to compliment his players. He's happy to give you a pulse of his locker room within reason. But he's pretty reserved and not necessarily an open book when it comes to the media. As I've said with Lane Kiffin, as I've said with Matt McMahon, as I've said with Will Wade, as I've said with Ed Ogeron, as I've said with Brian Kelly, I don't really care how you handle the media. But I'm going to take it for what it's worth. In some cases, it's not worth anything. In some cases, let's drill down. And yesterday, Jay Johnson was asked about Major League Baseball. It's pertinent because LSU is headed to Knoxville, Tennessee to play the Tennessee Vols this weekend. There'll be a pretty big hole in that dugout. Brand new Lindsey Nelson Stadium, pumped a ton of money into that thing, got a national championship logo on the wall, and the guy that brought it all there is gone with the San Francisco Giants. That, of course, is Tony Vitello. So the media asked Jay Johnson, are you paying attention, and do you have any interest in that? Now, keep in mind before we play this soundbite, Jay Johnson said, and I've got it pulled up right here, on January 22nd, 2023. January 22nd, 2023. That is entering his second season at the First Pitch Banquet before he had won a national title at LSU. He said, I would not leave LSU to be the manager of the New York Yankees. This is the best job in baseball. He said that. Now, let's fast forward 3 years and 3 months, and this is Jay Johnson when asked about Major League Baseball.
Right now, I have zero interest in that at this time. Now, that's at this time. I haven't been offered an MLB job, is what I will say. I'm fully into this, and there's a lot that we need to do to be the best we can be, and I want to be the best program in the country forever. So I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. I'm following it closely. I mean, that was my team. I'm from Northern California anyways, so it says score you check, if you turn on ESPN.com. I'm very interested to see how it goes.
So he says, I have zero interest in that right now. He clarifies. And then he doubled down on that and said, right now. Which indicates that there could be another time where I would be interested in looking at that. That would not make Jay Johnson unique at all. Tony Vitello just did it. Go through the guys in college basketball. John Calipari jumped, Rick Pitino jumped, Billy Donovan jumped, Larry Brown jumped, Fred Hoiberg jumped. Happens all the time. Mike Krzyzewski never did it, but it happens all the time. Look at college football. Nick Saban jumped. Steve Spurrier jumped. Jimmy Johnson jumped. I don't know if Barry Switzer jumped, but he went to the Cowboys. Like, this stuff happens all the time. When you are wildly successful at the college level, there's only one more place to go to challenge yourself against the best of the best. And Jay Johnson did not slam that door closed. He could have slammed the door closed. He slammed the door closed 3 years ago. He didn't today. He's a different guy. Got 2 national championships. And the game's very, very different now than it was. But speaking of that, the games are very different at the college level and Major League Baseball level. And listen to Jay Johnson's kind of reasoning as to what the differences are and why it may not be for him at this very moment.
It's a completely different game, though. It's a different world. You know, if people think college football and the NFL are different, like that and this and what goes on, it's the moon. You know, because I don't know, I'm sure NFL teams have this too, but like the Ivy League has taken over baseball, and the general manager, the Ivy League guys at the top, a lot of times make the lineup, make the pitching decisions, this and that. And you can ask Jake Brown how Coach Johnson would feel if somebody was telling him what lineup we were playing. So,
and that is very true. I mean, I follow Major League Baseball relatively closely. There are undoubtedly some of you listening that follow it more closely. There are more of you listening in this market in South Louisiana where we don't have a local team that don't pay as much attention to Major League Baseball as you do to college sports. But I'll tell you, like, some names that you might know that are reflective of what he's talking about there. Paul DePodesta, maybe a name you know, maybe not. If you watch the movie Moneyball, he was played by Jonah Hill in that he was the Moneyball guy who crunched the numbers. And Paul DePodesta was a big figure in Moneyball, and he had worked for Cleveland, and he ended up actually going to the NFL and working for the Browns, but he was kind of one of the first people in doing that. DePodesta went to Harvard. Theo Epstein broke the curse in Boston, broke the curse with the Cubs as the general manager of both of those situations. He went to Yale. Currently, the Dodgers are the biggest show in town, right? Andrew Friedman runs things there. Not Ivy League, but he got a Tulane. He went to the Freeman School of Business. He studied finance there, got a degree, and worked in private equity before going to run the Dodgers. So same type of deal. Chaim Bloom has run the Red Sox, now running the Cardinals. He went to Yale College. So I realize that's not Yale University, but they're related. These are the type of names and these are the type of people that are running a lot of the data. They want to know spin rates. They want to know pitch shapes. They want to know all kinds of different spray charts. And like it gets way deep in the weeds, deeper than I know and deeper than I care to go on the air. But you get the point that they're running this organization with spreadsheets and data, and they're suggesting that, hey, it may not work out with this hitter in this spot on this Tuesday, but if I run that simulation 162 times with this data that I've got, I'm going to get the result I'm looking for. And that's the way Major League Baseball truly is run. And it's driven a lot of old-time, old-school managers right out of town. And if you look at the age of managers right now in Major League Baseball, a lot of them are real young. However, so this is to put all that together. You've got the quote. He says, I don't have an interest right now. Haven't been offered a job right now. And then says it's very, very different. But you could hear in his tone that he's leaving that door open a little bit. And the last piece of this, and it's not a soundbite that we have, but I wrote at LouisianaSports.net. He said it yesterday, and I'll just read it to you. He said, the big league level, it's an individual sport. Major League Baseball is an individual sport. It's not a team sport until the postseason. I like being part of a team. That's where my head and my heart is right now. We'll see things change. That's where I'm at. It's very, very candid. He's being honest. Because Major League Baseball, you are trying to get there and stay. Not everybody in Major League Baseball is Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani. A lot of them are guys who are trying to stick on the end of rosters, and they're yo-yoing back between AAA and the big leagues, and the best way to do that is to take care of yourself and make sure that you produce. And you're trying to keep your job. That's what Major League Baseball is. Until you get to the postseason, then everybody's got their job and just trying to win the games. And I'm not suggesting that no Major League Baseball cares about winning. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a personal piece to it of trying to keep your job, and it's the most volatile sport of them all, sending guys up and down. Like, Yes, NFL guys get cut. Yes, NFL guys get brought up and down from the practice squad, but it's not like Major League Baseball where you're using a massive amount of players every single year. It is very, very different. So one of two things is true here with Jay Johnson. One, he's 100% telling the truth. He's focused on LSU. He's not interested in Major League Baseball at all right now. Things could change, but he likes the structure of college. He likes the winning and team aspect of college. He likes to set his own lineup. He likes to run his own show in college, and he doesn't really have any interest in the pros. He's telling the 100% the truth. The other piece to this is he doesn't really care about the MLB at all, but he's trying to leverage LSU in this never-ending tug-of-war of revenue sharing now. And maybe that's the case as well. I can't blame him for either one of those. Can't blame him for either one of those things. I can't blame him for telling the truth and having an eye on Major League Baseball, even though he's not interested right now and things could change. And I can't blame him for saying, hey, I'm the highest functioning program at this school. I've got 2 national championships in 3 years, and I realize that we've got to help everybody out and fund everybody, but I'd like my cut. And I'd like to have as much as Mississippi State, and I'd like to have as much as Arkansas, and I'd like to have as much as Texas A&M, and I'd like to have as much as Texas, and I'd like to have as much as Georgia. And I don't know which one it is. It's one of those two. The other piece to this is that, big league managers make some pretty good cash. I just looked it up before the show. Alex Cora, Red Sox, $7 million. AJ Hinch in Detroit, somewhere north of 5, potentially as much as 7. Pat Murphy with the small market Brewers, $8.95 million. Craig Counsell with the Cubs, $8 million. Jay Johnson's paid really well at 3, but these guys make more. So today is not the day to determine whether or not Jay Johnson's ever going to leave LSU or he's leveraging LSU. Or that. Today is not that day. But today is a day to look at that press conference answer, and I kind of shoo away a lot of Jay Johnson press conference answers when he tells me he wouldn't trade Stephen Milam for any shortstop in the country. Well, Milam's hitting 250, and the guy at UCLA is going to be the first pick in the draft. Might want to look into something there. Sometimes he says things, and I know he's talking to his team through the media, and I support his right to do it. I just don't have to listen to it or take it at face value. This seemed genuine to me. Either he means it or he's speaking through the media, I'm going to need the resources that I need, or else I'm not going to be able to get the players that I need in the transfer portal, and Mississippi State's going to get them, and Tennessee's going to get them, and A&M's going to get them, and I'm not. And so it was an interesting 2-minute soundbite of something that I am paying attention to, and I'm just curious to see what his tone and tenor is, or are, I guess, next fall and next winter. Because right now, you are hearing him say things that he has not said previously. He's telling Glenn Guilbeau on the record for Tiger Rag that we need to decide how good we want to be at baseball. He's now saying that he has no interest right now in Major League Baseball, but things could change. He's opening doors that he had never opened before, and I'm listening. You can't change revenue structure for this baseball team right now in April. I don't know what next year's revenue sharing looks like. I won't know until he leaves if he's going to leave for a Major League Baseball job or if there's even a team that wants to go down and grab a college coach. This may be an epic failure in San Francisco. But Jay Johnson's a damn good baseball coach. And I understand I want to scratch an itch like all those legendary coaches I gave you previously. I just read you off the salaries, and it's a chance to test yourself at the highest level for a guy who's proven himself at this level to be a superstar. I don't have any ill will towards any of this. I don't have any overarching reaction to any of it. I'm just listening. And sometimes when Jay talks in press conferences, I'm not. When it comes to injuries, I'm usually not. When it comes to how good his players are, I hope he believes in them. And I hope they are the best player in the country, but he is prone to hyperbole in that sense. This was not hyperbole. This was honest or strategic. And I think we find out our answer after this season's put to bed, after another player acquisition cycle. That's what I think. And I'll promise you, I'll be right here to talk about it. This was not an end. This was an opening. This was something to take note of and circle back to. I'll do that. That's our opening drive. It's brought to you by our friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. When we come back, I was out watching football practice today. I took a look at a couple position groups of note. There were a couple of injuries that we want to catch you up on as well. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Swing Easy, GCBR.com. I mean, there's a pretty big golf tournament next weekend. Probably heard of it. Give out a jacket at the end. You want to play that course on the simulator? It's right there at Swing Easy Golf Club. I love doing it. Have a lot of fun. You can actually move up to those member tees and shoot a decent score. It's really fun. If you've never played on a simulator, go see them at Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins. Get a tee time, tee it up, bring some friends, bring some family on this holiday weekend. They'll bring you a bucket full of ice, seltzers and beers, glass of wine, play some tunes, and play one of the great courses in the world. You can play St. Andrews, Cypress Point. How about Pebble Beach? Also a great time. It's just a different way to experience golf, and if you've never done it, I just highly recommend you give it a try. Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins, online at swingeasygcbr.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Sagrera Farms. It's grilling season, y'all. Great time to get burgers on the grill, get steaks on the grill. Love doing that at my house. I'm a big steak guy, and it's something that I demand quality in. Not everything do I demand quality in. I don't really care at times what kind of car I'm driving. I can slum it in a hotel that's not a 5-star, I don't really have any interest in eating a low-quality steak. Like, that just doesn't sound good to me. And that's why at my house we eat Sagrera Farms. If you're not happy with the quality of the steaks you're getting, you're not happy with the quality of the beef that you're getting, wherever it is that you buy those, get the prime. Get the best. Top 2% beef in the country. It's just north of Baton Rouge at Sagrera Farms. I tell you every week about the scores that separate the select from the choice to the prime. Talking about select at 0 to 3 on the IMF scale. You're talking about 60% of beef that's in that choice range, which is going to be 3 to 6, 8, 7, or 8. And then 8, 9 plus, that's your prime. At Sagrera Farms, Sean's got cows on his land right now that are 14, 16, 17, 18, double prime. That's what you can have in your freezer. If you go buy a half a cow, go buy a quarter cow, go buy a whole cow. Split it between families, split it between friends. It's a great time to do that in the summer when you want to get those burgers on the grill, want to get those steaks on the grill. There's no better spot to get them than Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. You can give Sean a call, shoot him a text, tell him you heard about it on the Hunt Palmer Show. It's 225-719-1723, 719-1723. That's Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. All right, today we were out at the practice field again. We're out there at the practice field when you can hear that music blaring. Lane's got it churning every single day. And the guys were out there in helmets and shoulder pads. First little housekeeping note with the injury stuff. Whitweek's still not practicing. No timetable for him on when he will return. I didn't even see him out there today. That's not to say that he wasn't there, but he certainly wasn't working out with the linebackers. Trey'Dez Green was in a black jersey on Tuesday. I've never seen a black jersey before. The whole team's in purple and white. The quarterbacks and non-contact guys are always in yellow, and he was in black on Tuesday. Not sure. Today, he was in gold, so no contact. However, he did go through all the drills that I saw. He went through the 11-on-11, which is not full contact. They got shoulder pads and helmets on, but not full contact. And then he certainly went through the receiving drills as well. And then you got Sam Levitt. I told you on Tuesday, Sam Levitt was going through the read option drills when they gave it to running backs. He was going through all the throws, as he has all of spring. But when they went into quarterback design runs, he didn't participate. Today, he did some read option fakes and running up the middle. He did a little bit of jogging up the middle. That's not really noteworthy, but he is progressing to do something more each and every practice. I'll say this, and I think I said it on Tuesday, but I'll say it again. I'll probably stop harping on it now that we've seen him for 2 weeks. I'm not an orthopedic surgeon. I'm not a doctor. I am not Sam Levitt. I'm not a trainer. I have no qualifications for this whatsoever. However, watching him on April the 2nd, watching him in the last week of March, my doubts about his ability to play and play at full strength on Labor Day weekend are very small, if not none. Like, he's already bouncing around out there in shoulder pads, throwing a lot of passes, going through read option stuff, light jogging. Like, again, I have no medical knowledge. It just looks like he's doing pretty good. So I'll get off the Sam Levitt stuff for now. I did watch a lot of red zone passing in my time. No defense. They're just working on route combinations, and you saw a lot of rub routes. You saw a lot of angle routes where the backs out of the backfield and the wide receivers are running sharp ends and slants. You saw a lot of drags along the back of the end zone. Saw a lot of fade routes. Saw some outs as well. And I was struck in watching them from up close. They were down in the end zone right next to us, which always helps. It's just hard to evaluate things from 45, 60 yards away. When they were right there in front of us, my general thought on this wide receiver group is that it's small and fast. You've got guys that are out there like Trey Wilson, like Jace Brown, like Phillip Wright. There are a lot of guys, Tyree Holloway, Winnie Watkins, that are sub 6'1", in some cases sub 6 feet, that are really fast, that can really go. And that is true. They have those guys. I just listed off a number of them. But also, when I look at this wide receiver group, there is a little bit more size than maybe I thought of initially. You look at Trey Brown, who comes from Old Dominion. He is legitimately 6'2" and looks it out there. There's a reason Ohio State and LSU were after him. I think he's actually. Let me see what I wrote here. Yeah, he's listed at 6'4", so he may be legitimately tall. Jackson Harris, the Hawaii transfer, is absolutely 6'2" and looks like a bigger frame, bigger body wide receiver. Harris is out there with the ones a lot. I think they like him a lot. He had a big season at Hawaii last year, had a lot of yards per catch. He's got a big frame. So that's two guys that are taller. And then Roman Mothershed, who I'm not sure exactly where he is on the depth chart. I did hear when they got him from Troy that a couple of the staff members thought they really had a diamond in the rough. That's something that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss really pride themselves on. And I think Billy Glasscock is one of those guys as well. Mothershed is 6'5", and he made a catch in front of me today where he leapt in the back of the end zone and made a high point catch that was way up there. And of course, I'm not even mentioning in this discussion Trey Green, who's the best jump ball player in college football. So that's four guys between Jackson Harris at 6'2", Trey Brown at 6'4", Mothershed at 6'5", and Trey at 6'7". They've got size if they're looking for size. And I'm not asking for all four of those guys to be massively impactful players. If one or two of the wide receivers is good and Trey is good, having three of those guys, you got plenty. You can stick the other guys in the slot, let them go to work, and that's great. I told you how good I thought that Jace Brown has looked throughout camp in spring. I think he has. They do have some size that I thought was really good. I saw two drops today. One was by, let me look at my note here. One was by one, which is Jace Brown. Jace Brown had one drop, and then Trey Wilson had a drop. They were doing some push-ups for those. But those are the only two balls I really saw hit the ground other than one Sam Levitt overthrow. Saw a lot of connections. No defense, no surprise. But I thought it looked crisp. The quarterbacks looked good. They were on target very, very often, and the guys were catching the ball with their hands, which looked good. Switching over to the cornerback position, I just took a good look at them in the pads today, and it struck me that they are slender at corner. That doesn't mean they're not physical, but they're not imposing. DJ Pickett is imposing because he's 6'5", but he's still thin. PJ Woodland's never going to be a big corner, right? Like, he's going to put on some weight over the time at LSU. He plays fearless. He puts his nose in there. He hits people, but he is slender. Jakeem Jackson is the biggest corner they have in terms of filling out the uniform. He's been in college for 3 years, and he's a bigger guy. But beyond those three, Pickett, Woodland, and Jackson, who are the first three corners that come in, you're looking at Michael Turner, who's listed at 162 pounds. You're looking at Aiden Anding, who's listed at 170 pounds. And you're looking at Havon Finney, who I saw today, who looks like a player that should be a junior in high school in his second semester as a junior. He reclassified and enrolled early. So he's theoretically should still have 3 semesters of high school left. He's on the practice field. It surprises me a little bit that they did not go out and get one transfer who is a senior who weighs 194. Like, it just surprises me a little bit that Corey didn't do that. However, I implicitly trust Corey Raymond to evaluate and develop corners. He does it all the time. And the point remains that if you're looking for a little bit more size, they've got big DBs that they are playing in the box. TaMarcus Cooley can come down. Deshaun Spears can come down. Ty Benefield can come down. All those big safeties are physical, are big, are imposing. And if you need to deal with the big tight end in the slot, or you need somebody to come down and play the run in the secondary, you do have the option of getting those guys in there at the nickel and star positions, and I think LSU will. You've seen some of that already. So it's Pickett is got long enough arms and is a second-year player. He can play people at the point of attack. PJ Woodland's never scared of anybody, and Jakeem Jackson's big enough to do it. If you lose one of those guys, which is always a possibility, beyond them you are thin in depth, but thin just filling out the uniform. It's obvious to me to look at that cornerback room. I've seen bigger and more physical cornerback rooms at LSU. Everybody's not going to look like Patrick Peterson, I promise. But I've seen, when you think about Stingley and Fulton, like, those guys were bigger when they were out there. Mansour Delane last year was a bigger player. They're a little bit slender at cornerback this year. That struck me a little bit. There's still time. Put on 5, 8, 9, 10 pounds before now and Labor Day. But right now, it's a thinner group out there at corner. So that's a look at LSU football today on this Thursday. We're brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Take a time out, come back and preview the SEC weekend, which starts with 6 games tonight with Joe Healy of D1 Baseball. He's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Don't get caught with your power out. It's just a huge bummer, especially the time of year where our power goes out the most, which is, of course, in the summer when we got those afternoon thunderstorms that roll through, and, of course, hurricanes, which those leave you out without power for a few days. It gets real uncomfortable in that house in a hurry. Make sure you're prepared this year from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. They're locally owned and operated and have been for 40 years. Neil and Melissa have been running things for 40 years. Give them a call at 985-397-1562 or at 225-300-9389. They're your local Generac standby home generator outlet. They have it installed. They monitor it. They service it, all local. You can get that generator from the folks at the big box stores. Where's the customer service once you walk out the door once it's installed? At Boudreaux's Electrical, you never have to wonder about that. Check them out online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
It's a busy Thursday in the Southeastern Conference. 6 series cranking up tonight. LSU and Tennessee will wait until tomorrow, so they'll be one of 2 series that are scheduled to play on Sunday. Knoxville weather not looking awesome for Sunday, but we'll worry about that when we get there. D1 Baseball, SEC Extras, Joe Healy with us on Thursday, also with the Highway to Hoover podcast. Joe, how are you?
Doing all right, Hunt. Believe it or not, second half of the regular season seems like it comes faster and faster every year, and here we are.
It's almost here. Let's talk. Well, it's the second half of the regular season. I'm talking about conference play. We still got a couple of weeks, but to your point, that is correct. What team under 500? That's exactly 4-5. Are you most concerned about between Auburn, Oklahoma, LSU, and Arkansas? All four are 4-5 after 3 weeks.
Probably Oklahoma, when you consider that the thing that I liked most about that team in the non-conference, and even early on in the first weekend of conference play, was that starting rotation, and it was able to uplift a lineup that I think is solid but not great necessarily. So if that's going to backslide, I'm really concerned about Oklahoma, just because I don't know that they're going to have the firepower to get it done, to make up for not getting the pitching they got early in the season. Some of the other teams, I just think I have a higher level of conviction in them coming out of it. Even LSU, with all the struggles they've had, we know the talent level is what it is. Nobody's sitting around going, well, this team is just, maybe it's not as talented as some other LSU teams, but no one is sitting around saying, oh, this team just isn't talented enough to win games in this league. It's just a matter of getting it going and figuring out the right combinations, whereas with Oklahoma, it felt like they had a pretty narrow path to being relevant at the top of the SEC, and if it's not starting pitching, getting it done, I'm just not sure how else they would do it.
Very, very surprising sweeps last week from Alabama against Auburn and then from Florida at Arkansas. Which of those two teams seems the most for real to you?
That's such a good question. Because it's like the sweeps is just so hard to know what's real and what's just a matter of one weekend. And but I think of the teams that swept there, I think I like Florida better just because it is a top 5 talented roster. Now, they haven't played like it. They've had some injury issues. But in terms of talent on that roster, we seriously in the preseason talked about ranking them higher than we did. We had them as a top 10 team. We talked about them being in the top 5, just couldn't quite get there at the time. But in terms of on-field talent, they're right there. So, I think I feel best about them. But I got to say, like, if Alabama is going to get, those two starting pitchers, if they're going to get Faye and Adams being like this week after week, now obviously, Faye has given up 1 hit in his last 14 innings. That's not going to hold. But, if he is as solid as he's been so far this season and Tyler Faye continues to pitch, Zane Adams continues to pitch like he has, they're going to be in every single weekend. I just don't know that I have as much conviction because the position player group has a high floor, but it has a pretty limited ceiling. And I think in this league, you've got to be able to you've got to be a high ceiling offense to really be at the top of the conference.
Let's talk about some of the games tonight. We'll start with Arkansas, who is at Auburn. Both those teams, as we mentioned, 4-5 in league play. Both were swept last weekend. How do you see that one on the Plains?
Yeah, if you're Arkansas, you've got to get more out of Gabe Gackle. Last weekend, he just wasn't very good. His command wasn't there. The fastball was really spraying. And he's got to set the tone, especially given that Auburn continues to get good stuff out of Jake Marciano. It certainly hasn't been his fault that Auburn has taken a step back. He's continued to pitch extremely well. So I do think it comes down to which guy gets more out of that number one starter. As boring of an answer as that is, the other piece I'll be interested in is as that weekend goes on, is which of these offenses that in theory looks like it could be pretty strong but hasn't been so far this season, do either of them show signs of being improved as time goes on? Because right now, that's the issue for both sides, is neither offense has really been producing all that much.
Here's the worst question I'll ask you during this interview. I was in Omaha last year, and I saw Arkansas and Baton Rouge for 3 games last year. I covered 5 games they played, and I called him Cam Kojal all 5 games, and now I read Camden everywhere. What happened there?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's kind of like, I went by Joey, until I was, in college. I was a Joey, and then I just one day I just kind of woke up and was like, I think I'm a Joe. I'm definitely not a Joseph. I'm not a Joseph. So maybe it's just that. Maybe he just woke up and decided I'm Camden now. Or maybe it's the confusion over, like, he was just like, we've got too many Cams in this conference. We've got for goodness sakes, we've got 2 Cam Johnsons on one team.
Yes.
We need someone who's a Camden. So maybe he's trying to fill in a gap there and try to, that be his thing as being a candidate. I don't know. It's a good question, but I suspect it's a little bit like what I described. He just woke up and decided he wanted to be a little more grown up.
He was the toast of the town in Omaha last year, an Omaha native. His dad was on the Rosenblatt grounds crew, and I wrote about him extensively. And then all of a sudden I looked up this year, and I was like, that's not just a one-time thing. They're all calling him Camden. I can do that, but LSU doesn't play Arkansas this year. So maybe in Omaha we'll get that chance. Georgia and Mississippi State are trying to get to Omaha. They'll play in Starkville this weekend. Georgia looks pretty good by my eye, and so does Mississippi State. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. That's my series of the week. I've got a story on it on the site now. Folks can go and read. On paper, when I first started trying to break down this series, I thought, well, first to 10 wins in a game. And then I thought, well, actually, as I look deeper into it, and that could still be the case, right? I mean, the wind blows out, whatever. The conditions are such that if this is college baseball, it could be a high-scoring series. But I looked at it a little bit more, and, even with the injury to Ryan McPherson, I really like what Mississippi State has on the mound. The bullpen has found some new pieces. Even if the guys like Ben Davis aren't pitching as well as they figured out of the bullpen, they found some new pieces there. And Charlie Foster looked pretty good out of the rotation last weekend. We'll see if that holds for 2 weekends in a row. And then you look on the Georgia side, and I don't like their pitching as much as State's, but I still like it a decent bit. And the thing that's kind of put them over the top this season is, I don't know when this happened, but they're apparently the best defensive team in the league this season. And I don't know that I buy that as I don't think they're making a lot of outstanding plays out there just based on what I know of the personnel. But at a bare minimum, fielding 986 means you're making every single routine play. And that's a big difference maker. You're not giving people extra base runners. So as long as they can keep the walks down, which is always a question with Georgia, they're going to keep extra bases free bases from happening from errors. I think that's a little bit of an advantage. So it's a toss-up for me. I don't even remember, to be honest with you, Hunt, I don't even remember who I picked in our weekly pick'em because I think I literally just was throwing something at the wall. So we'll see. My hunch tells me State here, but I'm hoping for a competitive series.
No, Ole Miss is 3-6 in the league, but they have played Texas and Mississippi State already, which I think has to be considered. They'll go to Florida in Gainesville this weekend. How big a series is that for both teams?
Yeah, I think it's big. I mean, for Florida, it's an opportunity to prove that they are an upper level team in this conference and not just a team that has caught teams at the right time. I think that's on the line for them here. I mean, if they win this series, they're looking at worst 8-4 in the league going into the halfway point next weekend. So that's big. And then if you're Ole Miss, I mean, I think this is huge just because I think there's a little bit of a crisis of confidence there in terms of just being able to string together results for them. And to me, they've just been exposed offensively. We've talked about that on this show. Yeah. Whether it's SEC competition on the weekend or whether it's Memphis, a not very good Memphis team in the midweek, they've just not really, when the ball's not leaving the ballpark, they've had a whole lot of trouble scoring runs. And, their pitching has gotten healthier. Cade Townsend is back, and he looked pretty good. They switched up the rotation a little bit this week. Taylor Rave is going to take over as not Friday, a Thursday guy in this case. But it feels big for Ole Miss because if they come out of this weekend with another series loss, I think there's going to be a little bit of a concern that maybe this just is what they are from a team standpoint this season.
All right, let's talk about LSU and Tennessee. They'll start tomorrow in Knoxville. I have not seen pitching rotation set. I'm assuming that Tennessee is going to go back with Arvidsson and then put Coons in the bullpen like they did last week, and then go with Mack and Blanco. What do you make of this pitching staff that Tennessee is kind of settling on?
I think I like the change. First off, Tegan Coons, and I saw this a little bit when I saw him in the Cape. It strikes me as the type of guy that really just needs to know that he can go out there and empty the tank. And if it lasts 2 innings, great. If it lasts 3 innings, even better. If it lasts 4 innings, you're really thankful for that. So I think having him as a piggyback guy off of Arvidsson, I like that change. It worked well last weekend. We'll see what to make of it this weekend. The key for me is Evan Blanco. He wasn't very good last weekend, but he was so good for the first 6 weeks of the season. And I think that's more of what he is. I think last week is going to be seen as the outlier versus what he was before that. Let's not forget this is a guy who, was the Friday guy for Virginia on a team that got to Omaha. The guy just knows how to pitch. It's not the most electrifying stuff you're ever going to see, but he knows how to get outs. He knows how to manage being a starting pitcher. I think he's too good to be closer to what we saw last week than what we saw the first 6 weeks of the season. And Landon Mack's been solid enough. You'll take what he's given you as a Saturday guy throughout the season. So, now what I will say is I'm not 100% sold on the Tennessee bullpen. It still feels like maybe some guys, they want to be key pieces of that puzzle. I'm not as sold on. It doesn't feel like they have a Nate Snead out there, kind of that guy that they go to whenever they're in trouble or whenever they need to get out of a jam or whenever they need somebody to throw 3 innings and they're kind of panicking. He was a little bit of a security blanket out there, and I'm not entirely sure they have that guy. So that's maybe not something that's going to get talked about as much, but I do think it's extremely important for this team.
What about Cam Appenzeller? Because his numbers jump off the page.
Yeah, no, he's definitely an yeah, he's definitely an exception to that. He's been excellent so far this season. You never know what to expect with freshmen right out of the gate, but yeah, certainly he looks like maybe the next guy. And perhaps I'm underselling him a little bit, but yeah, we'll see if they continue to expand his role. He's already pitched a decent bit, but the interesting thing with him is going to be if there are, like, how good does he? And this was the question with Nate Snead so often, like, how good does he need to be before you start to consider if something else doesn't work out in the rotation, like maybe you just need to move him there. So we'll see, but he has been the exception to the rule. It's a good point you bring up.
Has LSU done anything to change your thoughts on their offense by scoring 1 billion runs on Kentucky's bullpen, Louisiana Tech, and the stuff that they've done here over the last week and a half?
No, not really. I mean, I kind of looked.
I tried.
I know that. Yeah, I know that's really like a pretty non-interesting answer for your listeners, but like not really, because I just that felt like the classic SEC rock fight on Sunday last week, where nobody really has any faith in anybody they were bringing out of the bullpen. If it was 17-4, I might have felt differently, but it was 17-10, and it just sometimes those games can almost be contagious, where both teams are just scoring runs at will because nobody can string outs together. So it felt more like that than it did LSU figuring some things out. Although I do think they have started to narrow on some stuff. Like, I just think Seth Dardar just needs to be the second baseman at this point. Like, he's the guy who's been the most consistent there. And, obviously you got to find somebody who can just do it defensively well enough. And I think he'll do it well enough. And with the way he's swinging the bat, it kind of strikes me that, he probably should just be the guy. And I think we've arrived at the time of the season where whoever Jay thinks of it, and I know he likes to use his whole roster, and that's one of I think the best things about the job he does at LSU. But I do think we're at the point of the season where you got to kind of settle on your 9 and just let them go out there and see what they can do, because you've got to get guys in a groove here, and I think this is an opportunity with Dardar to finally settle on somebody at a position that has been a little bit of a question mark this season.
Joe, enjoy the baseball this weekend. We'll talk next week.
All right, Hunt, see you, buddy.
Joe Healy, SEC Extra on D1 Baseball, also the Highway to Hoover podcast. You can catch him on YouTube in the mornings on the weekend with the Weekend Waypoints. He's with us on Thursdays. Reminder about our friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. Every car that is on that lot on Highway 61 in St. Francisville is online at FabryChevrolet.com. So if you're looking for a new truck, up to $11,000 off Chevy Silverados, up to $13,000 off GMC Sierras. Incredible deals at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've been here for 35 years, the Fabry family in Baton Rouge. You know the family, you know the customer service that they're going to offer, you know what the buying experience is going to be. It's going to be wonderful. So start that process at FabryChevrolet.com. Go see them. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Come back and give you a nugget on the Final Four. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is that website. If you're looking for another option for your group employee benefits, you can find that at Highland Insurance Group. There's one carrier in town that has been raising rates year over year over year, and it starts to squeeze you a little bit. Employee benefits can be really expensive, but they're important to attract talent to your organization and to maintain that talent in your organization. So if you are just uncomfortable with the renewals that you continue to get from a benefits side, from a health insurance side, and you want a second opinion, you want a second option, contact Jonathan Carbo and the Highland Insurance Group. They are happy to help you out with that. They're online at HighlandIG.com. They're based right here in Baton Rouge. Of course, they can handle your property and casualty needs if you are a business looking for your P&C insurance. But if you're looking for benefits as well, the Highland Insurance Group, find them online at HighlandIG.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms, Premium Angus Beef. Sagrera Farms bringing you our Thursday shows. Final Four starts up on Saturday evening. Just a quick thumbnail on this. I saw one of the most unbelievable statistics I've ever seen in my life looking up details on these two teams.
What'd you find?
One of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. There are 365 teams in college basketball.
Yep.
Care to guess where Illinois ranks in turnovers forced?
They play kind of European, so probably like low, like super low.
365th. They're last.
So they don't foul nobody.
No, they don't turn anyone over.
Oh, so they don't steal the ball.
They don't steal the ball.
They don't steal the ball.
Turnovers forced, they're last.
They're just ethical. They're just like, we just out here.
Now, the offset to that is that they rebound really well.
Yep.
So when you think about turnovers forced, you think about limiting shots.
Yep.
You can also limit them if you rebound after one. So there's a give and take there, and it's not like they're bad on defense. They're 69th in defensive efficiency, which is last among these groups. You look at the efficiency rankings, like Illinois is first in the country in offense and 69th in defense. UConn is 47th on offense, 14th on defense. Two solid teams that have a significant strength. Illinois can score. UConn can play defense. You look at Michigan and Arizona, it's ridiculous.
Stars.
Michigan is 4th in the country on offense and 8th on defense. Arizona is 8th on offense and 6th on defense, which means they're top 8 in all four. So that's the heavyweight fight.
Yep.
I just could not believe in watching and looking at the Illinois statistics that they are dead last in the country in anything and in the Final Four.
Yeah, man.
You're telling me you can't find Bellarmine or Marist or Prairie View A&M worse than that's incredible to me. To be last.
That just means also what helps them is they're not fouling teams, so they're never getting into foul trouble. So that means their guys are able to keep going. They're not getting these petty reaching.
And they're first in offensive efficiency in the country.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's wild is that Brad Underwood's teams at Stephen F. Austin pressed and turned people over like crazy.
Also like a flip. It's like a
flip.
flip.
Now he's at Illinois and he gets way better players. You get some pros. He's like, well, we don't have to play like that and we'll just be completely different. That to me is one sign of a good coach. It's not a bad thing to be awesome at one thing.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's impressive to me when you can do something two different ways, and Brad Underwood has done that. As far as the games go, I'm just not here to bet against UConn. UConn's never lost a game in the Final Four,
lost a game
so
in the Final
I'm not here to go against Healy, especially when I consider that Illinois is unlikely to turn them over, and they're going to get shots, and they're in the top 25 in the country in field goal percentage. So I like UConn in that game.
Yes, sir.
Michigan, Arizona. I'm not going to come off my pick here. I picked Michigan to win the national championship, so I'll take Michigan in this game as well. I don't have a ton of conviction in that pick because I think Arizona is so good.
Just as good, yes.
But I just like Michigan's bigs, and they just make life really difficult on you. So I'll go with Michigan.
They're physical. Lindenberg is a problem.
Yes.
But Arizona, they have the size, and Arizona's kind of like a football team. They're like a running game. They don't shoot many threes. They're going to just pound you. So they can get Michigan in foul trouble. It's going to be leaks in the dam.
Yeah. Tommy Lloyd is going to look back at the next 3 weeks of his life for the rest of his life.
Yes.
What do you do in the Final Four for the first time ever? And do you take the North Carolina job and change things?
They're coming.
It's the 3 weeks here that he's got to make all that work. So give me the Huskies, give me the Wolverines. Great basketball though. I'm in for heavyweight fights. You're getting them starting on Saturday afternoon. We'll come back, talk some LSU baseball against Tennessee and some Saints.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. You know, Lifetime Roofing is a Baton Rouge-based roofing company that was started and now run by lifelong South Louisiana residents that really care about this community. Far too often in the roofing game, there's some sort of weather event, and roofing companies come in from all over the place and see how much they can make the cash register ring. New roof, new roof, new roof. They don't care about you. They're not going to be here after they install that roof. Don't let that happen to you. Roofing is often an industry where you're going to get multiple bids. You're going to get multiple quotes, and that's okay. But consider Lifetime Roofing, and then consider the fact that you're going to get a lifetime workmanship warranty, that you're going to get financing options up to 18 months, and that you're working with a local Baton Rouge-based, South Louisiana-based company. It's Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA's Eastern Conference leading Pistons will be without star Cade Cunningham at least another week as he continues to recover from a collapsed left lung. Detroit's already clinched the Central Division and is up 4 games on Boston for the top spot in the East with 6 games left in the regular season. Kirk Cousins is Vegas-bound, agreed to join the Raiders on what's basically a 1-year, fully guaranteed $20 million contract. Vegas, which is expected to draft Fernando Mendoza first overall in this month's NFL draft, adding another veteran quarterback to the roster, as coach Clint Kubiak said he planned to do. NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero.
Kirk coming in a way, is just let's build out as many ways as we can to protect the rookie quarterback. I would say the most likely scenario is Kirk Cousins is the Raiders quarterback in week 1. His play and the progression of Fernando Mendoza will determine exactly how long that lasts.
Tom Pelissero on The Rich Eisen Show. The Pirates calling up Connor Griffin, the #1 prospect in all of baseball, ahead of tomorrow's home opener. The 19-year-old is expected to be the team's starting shortstop.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, I'm a bundle of nerves as my Illini gear up for the Final Four against UConn. But we'll give you the keys to victory for Illinois anyway. On Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio, this is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour number 2, final hour of the week here on the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. As a reminder, we will not be on air tomorrow. Giving off for Good Friday. We'll be back in action on Monday. Hope everybody has a happy and safe holiday weekend with family and friends. We got one more hour to get you there, and we're fired up for it. Chris Blair will be here in 15 minutes talking Tigers. I'll preview LSU and Tennessee in 30 minutes at the bottom of the hour. You know, I feel like a lot of times people view media members, I'm not talking about me here, I'm talking about national people, and declare whether or not they like or dislike them based on whether or not they agree with them. And I've always kind of pushed back on that a little bit. I personally, as I consume media, which I do a lot of, I listen to a lot of podcasts, watch a lot of sports talk television, have a lot of social media interaction. I consume a lot of content, and I like people that make me think and that say something to go, I didn't think about that. And whether I agree or disagree, I enjoy that back and forth. And Dan Orlovsky said something either yesterday or today. I read it today. I don't know when he said it. That made me think. And I had to give it a good 15 minutes of thought. And Ross Jackson ultimately swayed me at LouisianaSports.net into what I truly believe. And what Dan Orlovsky said was that the Saints will regret not trading up last year to take Tyler Shuck in the first round. And I thought, wait a second, but they got him in the second round. Like, why would you trade up to a spot you don't need to get to get the player you got in the second round? And the answer is simple, because you would then have the option to extend him to a 5th year on his rookie deal as a first-round pick. And I thought, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to think about it. Yes, you could have gotten him later, but if you do trade up, you can play your rookie quarterback on another year. And how often do I tell you that I love the fact that the Saints have got this guy 3 more years on a rookie deal? I think it's awesome. So in that line of thinking, like, it would be great if they had him for a 5th year on a rookie deal. So I thought to myself, if you traded up to do that, is that 5th year worth it? Because you would have lost a draft pick last year, or maybe one this year, to get that done. Okay, that's one side of the coin. And Ross writes on LouisianaSports.net, well, actually, it was better to just take him at 40. And Ross's rationale is because rookie quarterbacks that are drafted in the first round rarely play on that rookie deal into their 5th year. He did the research on it. There were 9 quarterbacks in the 2020 and 2021 NFL drafts taken in the first round. And only one of them, Tua Tagovailoa, played on the 5th year and wasn't extended or didn't have the option exercised at all. So it's like, it goes one of 2 ways if you're taken in the first round. Either before your 5th year, we're going to extend your contract because you're our franchise, or you're not playing here anymore. We're not even picking up the option. Interesting. And you don't, while it sounds like great fortune to take a quarterback in the first round who becomes your franchise quarterback, and you have the option to just extend him on his rookie deal for a 5th year, that sounds great. And in a vacuum that's emotionless, and it's just chess pieces you're moving around, that's ideal. You got a 5th year quarterback who's your franchise, who's cheap. It doesn't work like that. That's not how the business works. There are agents involved. There are millions and millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars involved. And you're not going to get a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback to play on a rookie contract in his 5th year. It's not going to happen. Like, that's just not realistic. You're going to have to up the ante on that. So at that point, you've traded away a draft pick and you're not even getting the advantage on the back end with that 5th year because it's just not realistic. So the Saints have done what they set out to do. They've gotten a quarterback on the cheap that looks like their franchise in the 2nd round, and they didn't trade any assets up to do it. And now they continue to have those assets. And as Ross writes on LouisianaSports.net, you want to trade up this year to get a player who you can play on a 5th year deal as a first-round pick, and there's somebody that you feel is a Pro Bowl caliber player, like, you have the option to do that, to have that player play a little bit cheaper around Tyler Shuck. It's more likely to get a corner or a wideout or a safety or an inside linebacker to play on that rookie deal for a 5th year than a quarterback. That makes all the sense in the world to me. So I appreciate Dan Orlovsky for coming up with the thought, well, you want this quarterback on a cheap deal for 1 more year. The fact of the matter is, Tua is the only one that got to this, and now you see what he didn't even play for that team anymore. It all fell apart around him. Now, some of that's health-related, and there's no certainties here. There's no certainty the Saints could get Shuck at 40. There's no certainty that Shuck is going to be a franchise quarterback. That's still not certain right now. There's no certainty he's going to be a Pro Bowler. You're working off of the diligence you've put in, and you trust your decision-making to lay out all this stuff. But the Saints have done this correctly by my estimation. Appreciate Orlovsky's thought. More so agree with Ross Jackson that this is a better way to go about it. And Ross cites examples. Green Bay signed a 2nd contract after with Jordan Love after his 3rd year. Like, eligible to agree that extension, bam, hit it. And that's more often what's going to happen. Burrow got the big deal. That's the way this thing goes. And you hope as an organization, you're in a position to give your quarterback a ton of money after 3 years. That's the goal. Because if you're not, your quarterback's probably not any good. So while it's great to play on that first deal, And I'm pumped for the next 2 years of the Saints roster management and their ability to put some things around Tyler Shuck and see what he can do. You hope that Tyler Shuck plays his way to where he's got to go to the front office and say, sign the check. Makes filling out the rest of the roster tough, but it's easier to fill out a roster than it is to find a franchise quarterback and go win a Super Bowl. Now, I'm not here to tell you that Sam Darnold is the greatest player that ever lived. And I am here to tell you that I'm seeing quarterbacks play in Super Bowls that don't necessarily look like they're ticketed right for the Hall of Fame, unlike my childhood where the whole thing was littered with Manning and Brady and you know the names, Roethlisberger, Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Like, these were the guys that were playing in Super Bowls year over year. And you're seeing teams that are really good in the NFL right now that don't have necessarily first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But the Saints are in a good spot, and they did the right thing. I appreciate Dan Orlovsky for that thought process, but ultimately, once you look at it a little bit more closely, which I enjoyed doing, I side with the fact that the Saints did this thing right, and now it's about continuing to do things right, continuing to hit on draft picks, and making sure that, no, you didn't have to trade your middle round draft picks last year where you got Quincy Riley and you got Jonas Sanker and you got some guys that Danny Stutzman you think can help. You didn't have to trade that pick to move up. It's not about the fifth year for Tyler Shuck. It's about surrounding him now with the best players you possibly can. Let's not trade those draft picks. Let's use them on guys that we can use as starters. That's what the Saints are looking to do right now. Jordan, your thoughts? You want that fifth year on Shuck's deal?
Well, when you broke it down that no quarterback really makes it to that point, it's like,
Tua did.
Yeah, and we definitely do not want Tua. Matter of fact, I cannot wait to play Tua this year. I actually cannot wait to see him in the dome. So, but as time goes on, I get more and more nervous about Shuck because it feels like it's just too much going on with Shuck. Even though last year when he first got here, he wasn't everybody's face. Yeah, we're anointing him. It kind of feels like the Browns that second year of Baker Mayfield. When he was on all the commercials, on a progressive commercial. Every time you watch the game, he was on the progressive commercials and all this, and he had a terrible year. And eventually, that led him getting out of Cleveland, even though it's Cleveland. Let's preface that it is Cleveland. Nobody works in Cleveland.
Nope.
But it's just like, I just want him to prove it that he is the guy. You know, we're sitting here like, okay, we're projecting him to be the guy. We're hoping, like, we all want him to be the guy. Yeah. But as time goes on, I just keep seeing him. He's doing these podcasts. He's out and about. He's in Paris and all this. Like, can he finally just solidify that we really don't have to look for another quarterback? Like, we are shucked. Like, we really are here.
How many weeks will it take to do that if he plays well? 3?
Well, knowing that our schedule is going to be pretty weak, you know, it should not take long. Honestly, if he starts like maybe week 2, and we're looking at maybe 6 touchdowns total in 2 weeks, maybe 1 intercept, maybe 2, I think we're rolling. Because it's got to.
I feel good about it.
Yeah, we'll feel real good about it. I'm just ready to play. I just want to play so bad. Let's get him out there.
Let's play college baseball first.
True.
Says nobody. Says like 4 people in the world. I'm one of them. Segura Farms brings you our Thursday shows each and every week. We'll chat with Chris Blair coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. It's that time where you start thinking about that first family vacation, that summer family vacation that's coming in 2026. And if you're thinking that maybe your vehicle is not in the shape it needs to be to take that drive, or you're just thinking you might need a new one, check out Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've got an incredible inventory of SUVs that are great for family road trips. On the Chevy side, you got Tahoes, you got Suburbans. On the GMC side, they got your Yukons and Denali's. Just start thinking about that. Doesn't mean you have to run to the lot right now. You can, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Doesn't mean you have to run to the website right now. You can, FabryChevrolet.com. But just start thinking about it. If you're thinking about, I'm not sure exactly what SUV I want to look for. Well, I know who you need to contact. It's the Fabry family, because they've been at this for 35 years. They've got a wonderful reputation in town because of the experience that people have had for 3+ decades dealing with the Fabry family. They're thrilled to have this Chevrolet GMC point on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. If you're in Baton Rouge, make the short drive. Obviously, if you're in the Felicianas, right there. Point Capite, right there. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Online at FabryChevrolet.com.
At Parrish, we bring the same commitment to your home that champions bring to the game.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
I love telling you all about Marucci. Just such a gem here in Baton Rouge. Such a cool thing for us to have in our community is the official bat of Major League Baseball made right here in Baton Rouge. It started in a backyard shed 22 years ago. You want to hear that story about how it went from the backyard to the big leagues? You can take a tour, and they'll tell you that story. You want to see where they make 1,200 bats every single day? You can check that out. You want to grab one of those bats, take some swings in the hitter's house? You can do it. And I'll tell you this, if you take that campus tour and learn about the history and see all the cool things that there are to see at Marucci, every ticket on that tour comes with a 20% discount in the campus tour store and in the hitter house. Check them out online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. maruccisports.com/campus-tour. It's our friends over at Marucci. All right, Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, good enough to give us some time on some Thursdays. He joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just got to Knoxville about an hour ago, so we were on the ground here in Rocky Top.
I want to talk some baseball, but first, I'm obviously a baseball guy. I love the Jay Johnson show. I always enjoyed the Paul Maneri shows, but the best coaches shows, I think, for my entertainment value, have been the Will Wade shows that you've been a part of in a bygone era. They're back.
Yes,
are you looking forward for that?
Yes. I mean, that's kind of the message I sent to him last week, which was, it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a blast. I mean, because again, as you well know, If you certainly want to talk basketball, we'll talk basketball. But if something else pops up, my man is well read and interested in a lot of things. So yeah, we kind of divert from time to time. So I would say it's probably more of a sports/non-sports show if you've never tuned in.
You've been in a lot of arenas over the years in the Southeastern Conference, and like the energy and the excitement levels up a lot of different places. How excited are you to have that back in Baton Rouge?
Oh man, it's going to be so much fun. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine when all the news started to hit last week, and I said, one of my greatest basketball memories is the game against Tennessee, the overtime win, and I mean that place was, and really, when you look back at it, it had been building. Obviously, crowds were certainly there when Coach Wade and the General was running the show, but I just remember like getting there to the PMAC and the ramps being wrapped around, and then once we got inside, I mean it. And I've always said this, I think right now when you go to Neville Arena and they're good, Auburn that is, and they're buying in, I mean, that's the toughest place to play, I think, just simply because they're on top of you. But that night against Tennessee, you could feel the crowd. It was on your shoulders. It was right behind you. And it's my best basketball memory.
It was a lot of fun. Javonte Smart carried him to the finish line in the PMAC that day against the Vols. All right, let's talk some baseball. Speaking of the Vols, LSU will play them. Is this going to feel a little bit different without Tony Vitello in the other dugout?
Yeah, I think they're still pretty salty, though, over here. I don't think that's changed. Obviously, Coach Elander was part of the program, I think, for 8 seasons, somewhere around there. And, again, he's largely responsible for recruiting. So I think they'll still be pretty chippy. I know the fans certainly will. Looking forward to seeing the renovations. They were, I guess, currently the most recent to do so at their facility, which up until they did, literally was probably 14th in the league, and that's being kind. But apparently, it's got a great atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, but now the facility's kind of caught up to where they are as a program. But no, I don't expect it to be any different than the last 4 years.
I was kind of looking at Zach Cowan through 3 weeks going, I don't know if I recognize this guy. For the last 3 weeks, I have. What have you seen from the Tiger right-hander?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, it's when you look at the numbers through the first 3 weeks, you're kind of flabbergasted. And then, you go back to as recently as Game 2 this past weekend. I mean, you're watching what you saw a lot of last year, especially down the stretch. And that's what you get when Zach gets on the mound. And the fact that you've seen that now over the last couple of weeks has to make you feel better. And I think that's part of why Coach Johnson has still continued to say, we're off a little bit where we want to be from a pitching standpoint. We're not as far away as maybe it looks like or maybe we were, a month ago. And I think Zach's a big reason for that.
Jay loves to use that whole roster. He likes depth. He likes matchups. But it seems like to me that John Pearson at third and Seth Dardar at second are kind of staking their claim. Do you expect to see them for 3 games this weekend?
Yeah, I got as close as I could possibly get him to on Monday night during the radio show of saying that. Mm-hmm. And I think you and I worded it the same way, which was, Coach, obviously with matchups, things will change. But are you getting closer to an everyday position group? And he said, we're as close as we've been all season. So, I don't think he would ever say to the nth degree, because I do think that, as you pointed out, there's going to be some matchups that maybe will move that a little bit, that second and third base position. But I think now that Aaron Beatty is back fully healthy, you're going to feel good about going with either Cerna or Aaron Beatty or Dardar. If you had to do any more position changes, they've got a place as designated hitter. But I think for the foreseeable future, you're going to see Pearson at third, Dardar at second, and probably a 2-1 on the weekends, Cerna and Aaron Beatty behind the plate.
And you look at it, LSU, I'm sure will not announce a starter for Sunday's game as they get ready for Friday's game when they announce all that.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There will be no news.
I'm not much for breaking news, but and I'm not really breaking news. It was released earlier today. Tennessee, by the way, is going to change up their starting rotation. Okay. They're adding one new guy to the rotation, and they switched, I think, 1 and 2, game 1 and game 2. But they certainly are making a change. And we were told that it will be Kason Evans coming up tomorrow night. It'll be William Schmidt on Saturday, and Gavin Guidry will start the game on Sunday.
That's stunning to me. What's gotten into the baseball coach? Has he been held hostage?
I was as stunned as you were, but we got off the plane. I said, Bill, I do Hunt show at 2:15, 3:15 Eastern. He goes, oh, no, check your email. Ben Beatty from the SEC put out the pitching matchup. So I opened it up and I read what the SEC released.
All right, well, I'll check that out. So the question I was getting to there is just like, how important are Case and Evans and William Schmidt to this thing? Considering even if it is Guidry, I don't expect Gavin Guidry to go 8 innings on Sunday. So you feel like the bullpen's got to be used on Sunday. That puts some pressure or some expectation, I should say, on Evans and Schmidt, no?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think again, because, the same kind of situation with Zach Cowan, there's no wavering in belief for Coach Johnson for Gavin Guidry. And again, to your point, I don't think it's, hey, Gavin, go give us 8. Now, obviously, if he was on a heater, I think Jay would take it for as far as he can. But I think since you have basically your game 1 and 2 starter, that's the most important thing. And, he mentioned it on Saturday. He said, look, our offense belted out the baseball on Sunday to get the win, and our bullpen was able to piece it together, but it all started with William Schmidt and Zach Cowan on game 2. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much the blueprint, at least for the foreseeable future. And, the benefit of that, the good news in that, is that's, I think, where you find, forced, not the way you'd want to do it, but you'll find a game 3, possibly even a game 4 starter when you get to the back end of the year in postseason. And I think it's not a problem you wish on yourself, but I think it can benefit you long-term by doing it the way we saw it last week, and probably what you're suspecting and I'm suspecting we'll see on Sunday.
Chris, enjoy Rocky Top. Y'all be safe coming back. We'll talk next week.
You got it, boss.
That is Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers. I said last week I'd be fall over stunned if Jay Johnson announced a Sunday starter prior to the series. Since I didn't say that this week, I guess I don't have to fall out of the chair. I could survive it, but I don't really want to fall out of the chair. But I'm stunned at that. Now, the question is, what does Tennessee do to counter? The good news in asking that question is that I have next segment to preview LSU and Tennessee. It's kind of the last full segment of the week. So during the break, I'll go see who Tennessee's planning on starting. I've got all their statistics right here, including the guys that I figured would start highlighted. I'll get that corrected. I'll know exactly who they're starting, and I can do a better preview segment in the next one. So y'all come back after this.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First, let me tell you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com. That is the website. David Duvall and his team have been doing this for 30 years, redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. I tell you about tub-to-shower conversions. They can do it. I tell you about customizing a closet, maybe one that's already existing. They can do it. Those are the lower-level jobs, and I say that meaning in terms of price, and I mean in terms of time of work. And they are happy to do those for you. But if you've got a full-scale renovation that's just got to be done, your bathroom is old, your bathroom is dated, your bathroom is not functioning the way that it's supposed to anymore, David and his team can handle that big renovation as well. That comes with the floors and the plumbing. They can install showers. They can take showers out. They can install tubs. They can take tubs out. They can handle your vanity as well. They can do everything, and it's just one phone call away. Bathroom's a place you spend a lot of time. Make it a presentable spot, make it a comfortable spot. David Duvall and his team can do that. It'll be aesthetically beautiful and customized to exactly what it is you want it to look like. It's done it for Brian Haldane, who does our morning show on Talk 107.3, and Brian's been raving about it for a month now. You can be next. Go to OneBathAndClosets.com. Check out the great reviews they've got. Request that free consultation. Sit down with David and start your process today. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online at OneBathAndClosets.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith.
If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Lot Mayor Sean Fagan and Associates.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Sagrera Farms brings you our Thursday shows each and every week. Some of the best beef in the country, and it's right here north of Baton Rouge in Ethel. Sean Sagrera started this as a passion project, and it's turned into a business, and that's because he's great at what he does. Every single cow on that farm is a 3-year journey, genetically created, and then raised on grass, finished on grain, dry-aged 45 days to create a consistent, flavorful, delicious product, and that's what he does. The Palmer House, it's what we eat. Our ground beef, Sagrera Farms. Ribeyes, fillets, Sagrera Farms. I love a good flank steak, skirt steak. We get them from Sagrera Farms. Looking for chuck roast, Sagrera Farms. Buy half a cow. Buy a side. Buy a whole cow. You can do that at Sagrera Farms. Stuff it in that freezer, and for the summer months, when it's warm and you get the grill out, you can have the best. Call Sean or send him a text, 719-1723. 719-1723. One of my favorite things about Sagrera Farms is you try the product, you're not impressed, you don't like it, you don't pay for it. Where's the risk in that? It's none. But I promise you, everything that Sean puts out is prime, and it is phenomenal. So if you're looking for the best in Angus beef, Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef, give Sean a call at 719-1723. Of course, that is in the 225 area code. All right, there has been a change in Tennessee's starting rotation, so let's get into that for the weekend. We'll get a preview of the Tigers and the Vols. Tennessee is going to go with Landon Mack in Game 1 tomorrow. Landon Mack is a Rutgers transfer. He is a guy that LSU was very interested in the transfer portal, and Landon Mack has been okay for Tennessee this year. His stuff is very good. He overpowered Nichols with 9 strikeouts. He overpowered Kent State, who is very good. If y'all remember, Kent State came in here and played LSU tough. They went to Knoxville and took a game that took a series. They're good. And he struck out 11 in that. He struck out 9 Tennessee Vols and didn't walk. Vanderbilt Commodores last week didn't walk anyone. But also, with that great stuff, Landon Mack has gotten hit a lot this year. He's a right-hander. Fastball's in the mid to high 90s. Good breaking ball. But let me read these lines to you. Against Georgia, he went 5 1/3, so worked into the 6th inning 9 hits, 4 earned runs. He gave up 2 homers to the Bulldogs. Against Missouri, he worked 4 innings against Missouri. 6 hits, 2 runs. And then against Vanderbilt last week, 5 innings of work, 8 hits, 4 runs. I was looking at his SEC statistics. Landon Mack, in 3 starts, has struck out 18 and 14 and a third. So those are good strikeout numbers. Opponents are hitting .371 in league play against him. That's a lot. You look at Saturday, and Tennessee is going to go with Tegan Kuhns. Now, Tegan Kuhns and William Schmidt will pitch on Saturday. These are 2 of the most physically gifted right-handers in the sophomore class in the country. You will see both of them at 95 miles an hour, 96, 97 potentially, settling around 93. You will see good breaking pitches. These are guys that look like SEC aces but haven't quite made that jump yet. Kuhns was the Friday guy for Tennessee until last week. They moved into the bullpen. He worked out of the bullpen last week. Now he's back in the starting rotation on Saturdays. Right-handed. He, in SEC play, 12 innings of SEC play, Tegan Kuhns, 17 strikeouts, 2 walks. That tells you the stuff. Big fastball, flies through the zone. He pops around off the mound. You're not going to like Tegan Kuhns very much. When he gets a strike, he'll strike out, he'll motion to the dugout and do a look-at-you thing. He's got some juice to him on the mound. He looks like a Friday night ace, but his numbers aren't as good. You're talking about a guy who has an SEC ERA of 6 and a batting average against an SEC play of .327. And they'll go with Evan Blanco on Sunday. Blanco was the Friday night guy for Virginia last year. Now, Virginia didn't make the tournament last year, but he had a good year, and he's been pretty solid for him this year, but he got hit pretty hard by Vanderbilt last week. They hit 2 home runs in the first inning. They got a lot going in the second inning with a couple of fortunate swings, had a check swing hit, had a ground ball in the infield that Tennessee threw away. But I'll tell you about this rotation with Mack, Kuhns, and Blanco. We are used to, at Tennessee, Chase Dolander, Chase Burns, Liam Doyle. Those guys were first-round picks, crazy stuff, just brutal aces at the front of rotations, right? Even guys like Ben Joyce in the back end who threw 103. Like, this was the talent Tony Vitello and Frank Anderson had. This staff doesn't scream that to me. Kuhns has that ability, but he hasn't harnessed it, so much so that they didn't start him on the weekend last week. Mack has some good stuff, but look, I mean, .371 batting average in league play is a .371 batting average in league play. And then Blanco does not have elite stuff. He's a nice left-handed pitcher, does not have elite stuff. They'll throw Brandon Arvinson at LSU at some point out of the bullpen. He's a left-hander that's 91, 92, sweepy slider. It's not a monstrous staff for Tennessee. It's good. It's talented. Mack will be a high draft pick. LSU wanted Mack. Kuhns will be a high draft pick, but it's not Dolander. It's not Burns. It's not Doyle. Now, the offense I can't figure out because this offense at Tennessee has got some guys with big talent. Like Henry Ford is a big talent. Blaine Brown is a huge talent. They got him from Rice. He throws really hard from the mound. He's got big power ability. But Henry Ford is hitting .225 in 9 league games, and Blaine Brown is hitting .211 in league games. Jay Abernathy has been in that program for 3 years. He's 1 for 20 in league play. 1 for 20. They've taken him out of the lineup. Now, Levi Clark has been a good player for them, and he's hitting .304 in league play, but only 1 home run. In Tennessee, if you're not familiar with the names, I probably pay closer attention to that than most of you. Just let me give you the statistics here, and this is for the season. This is not a 9-game sample size. This is for the year. Tennessee is 14th in the SEC in runs scored of 16 teams. They're 14th in batting average. They're 15th in drawing walks. Like 14th in run, 14th in batting average, 15th in walks. And so you would lean back on, well, they always hit a lot of home runs, right? That's under Vitello, Tennessee always hit a ton of home runs. They're 9th in the league in homers, and it's a homer-friendly ballpark. You know that. They're not super athletic. They're 15th in the league in steals. The one statistic that they do very well, pretty well, they're 5th in the league in doubles. But they've got a little bit of case of what LSU's got in that their main dudes are just not hitting a lot in league play. Again, Henry Ford at 225 and Blaine Brown at 211. Now, Blaine Brown, you'll see him tomorrow night. He's a little bit slender, but he's wiry. He's left-handed. He hit a couple home runs on opening weekend that left the bat at 110 miles an hour to dead center field. Like, he's a dude. He's a big-time draftable prospect. But he was 0 for 10 in their first 2 games against Vanderbilt. Now, on Sunday in Game 3, he hit an opposite field home run in, I think, the first inning. So it's just a team that hasn't put it all together. And because of that, you're looking at a team that's 3-6 in league play. And it was predictable they wouldn't quite be as good. And I don't know if Tony Vitello would have this team playing better than Josh Elander does. I don't know. But they haven't been as great. This is a series on paper that I looked at and I said, that's going to be really, really hard to win. And I still think it's going to be really, really hard to win because LSU hasn't, quite frankly, played worth a flip for a month and a half. Like, they just haven't played worth a flip. But it looks different on paper than it did in early February because Tennessee does not have its weekend rotation solidified beyond one guy, Cam Appenzeller, who you will see at some point this weekend. The bullpen's just been okay. Appenzeller's numbers are preposterous. 13 and a third innings pitched, no runs allowed at all. No unruns, obviously. 13 strikeouts, only 1 walk. He's been fantastic. True freshman, bullpen guy, been great. But the starting rotation this weekend all has SEC ERAs over 5.5, and the offense has been mediocre all year. So you look at LSU, and it starts with the same thing that I've been saying for a month and a half. The same thing. I sound like a broken record. It's not new research. It's not a new take. It's not breaking news. It's none of those things, but it doesn't get any less important because I say it a lot. If Case and Evans doesn't set the tone, this team's not going to achieve. I don't know how to be any more clear than that. If he goes out there like he did last week and walks 6 guys and hits 2, you can't be the team you want to be doing that. You're not going to win SEC series. That means you're not going to be hosting a regional, and that means since the super regional round, like, you're not going to Omaha. You're not. And there have been times where I've looked at LSU baseball teams and I've said, I don't think that's fixable. This is not one of those times. And this is not one of those Tennessee lineups that's going to dig in that AstroTurf and launch balls all over the place, so you have to be terrified. Case and Evans' stuff is good enough to go to Knoxville and win the game. It just is. And it's weird because his numbers, Evans's, are not as bad as I feel like I've watched. Now, a lot of that is because the teams he's faced have not been good at times. Milwaukee's not good. Sacramento State is not good. Northeastern is not good. So there's a part of that. But do you realize for the year that Case and Evans has 53 strikeouts against 19 walks, and opponents are hitting 194? He's allowed 1 home run on the season. He's allowed 2 doubles. He's allowed 4 extra base hits total in 36 innings with a strikeout to walk of 53 to 19. But too many walks, 19 of them in 36 innings. It's ridiculous. And then he's hit 4 guys. Plus he's uncorked 6 wild pitches. So it's not like statistically he's way off. And you can tell immediately because you can tell what his fastball looks like quickly. And in the game 2 weeks ago in Oklahoma, it was dialed. Last week, in the first 3 innings, it was terrible. In the last 3 innings, it was great. And he's had outings like that, too, where something clicks midway through. But as an ace, you don't have until midway through because the other guy on the other side's probably pretty good. And so I hate to keep harping on this, but it is what it is. Like, that's a cliche, and this is not a segment where I'm unearthing a bunch of stuff. It's just got to change. And if it does, you've got a chance to turn this thing around. I think LSU will score some runs this weekend. There may be a game where they score 3 because that happens in an SEC weekend. But I think for the whole of 27 innings this weekend, for the whole of 27 innings, I think LSU will hit. Tennessee's staff suggests that. Tennessee's ballpark suggests that. And the last week and a half of LSU's team suggests that. I've been more sunshine and roses with this team pre-game, pre-weekend than most people. And I'm okay with that. I've been pretty blunt post-game. But it stands to reason LSU should compete this weekend, even though they haven't played very well, because Tennessee hasn't either. Now, Tennessee, next weekend, is going to Starkville. So, if they don't win this weekend, and LSU beats them 2 out of 3, and that makes them 4-8 in the league with the trip to Starkville on tap, that's trouble. Josh Elander knows that. So you're going to get a fired-up Tennessee team that is probably pretty irritated at what happened last week. For those that don't know, they got walked off all 3 games in Nashville. Could have swept Vanderbilt on the road, instead got swept. And next week's going to be real tough. They got the defending champs coming in. They've got a team that a lot of those players looked at LSU and decided to go to Tennessee. It's going to be an emotional weekend and a weekend that's got a lot of talent that hasn't played to its level. If one of these teams does play to its level and the other one does not, you're going to see something lopsided. I'm hoping Case and Evans starts things on the right note coming up tomorrow. LSU and Tennessee, I'll have a preview out tomorrow morning on LouisianaSports.net for free. We got one segment left to go. We'll do it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. Talking about the largest hustler inventory in the state by far at GoTro's Outdoor Power. You're talking about the largest parts inventory in Louisiana at GoTro's Outdoor Power. If you need a new zero turn, go to GoTro's Outdoor Power. Thinking, well, where is it? You got 2 of them. If you're in Baton Rouge, Airline Highway's right there, just outside the city. Gonzales is a great location as well. You won't miss the one on Airline. There's a mountain of inventory just off of Airline. It's all orange. It's all that hustler, and you can get by and see them there. Need a new Raptor? They got you covered right there. They can get you behind the wheel for $100 a month. Financing option is available on site. And look, they've got their own extended warranty. GoTro's is the warrantor. So you can add 2 years or 200 hours to that manufacturer warranty, which is an incredible deal on your equipment from a locally owned and operated company. Go by and see them if you need a new zero turn. It's GoTro's Outdoor Power. You can find them online at GoTro'sOnline.com.
Another roof gone too soon.
Looks like neglect. There's no doubt about it. This is a case of poor installation.
At Pelican Roofing, we don't guess. We investigate to find the real cause of your roof's problems. Call Pelican Roofing for your free roof investigation today.
Case closed.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. If you're wondering which auction or location to go to for particular symptoms, they're here to help you. Their 24/7 symptom checker can help you guide to the right care. They can answer a few questions about how you're feeling and get care options based on your symptoms. So visit the symptom checker online at auctioner.org/findcare. Auctioner.org/findcare. May send you to primary care. That's comprehensive and continuous care, immunizations, mild asthma, mild to moderate chest pain, maybe some stomach aches there. You need to go to urgent care. That's things like lacerations, broken bones, urinary pain, earaches, flu-like symptoms. That's where you need to go to that urgent care. Maybe you need emergency care. That's severe chest pain, maybe bleeding, severe head trauma, obviously, severe allergic reaction. You need to make sure you're going to the right place, and Auctioner is here to help you with that. They've also got 24/7 virtual care options. My Auctioner virtual visits can be scheduled online through My Auctioner in the app. Convenient follow-ups and routine care are available to you as well. So download the My Auctioner app at www.auctioner.org/myo. That's www.auctioner.org/myo. All right, we're about done here on this Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Reminder, we will not be here tomorrow, back Monday after a long holiday weekend. Very much looking forward to that. The only thing we have left to do until then is some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so execs around the NFL expect the New England Patriots to acquire A.J. Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles in June. Once the salary cap implications, basically the Eagles are trying to save $43 million in dead cap by if they make this move after June 1st, and everybody
seems like a good idea.
Yeah, and everybody all the signs are basically pointing to the Patriots. So are the Patriots smart for going all in right now? Take it or leave it.
Leave it. I don't like the term all in.
Leave it alone.
I think all in needs to apply in very limited circumstances, like the end of Peyton Manning, the end of Drew Brees. That's all in. The Cubs got criticized for not going all in last year, and I'm like, you know what happens when you go all in and you lose? You don't have anything left.
Yeah, I
do think that the next 4 years are pretty important for the Cubs, and I would consider the same thing with the Eagles. You've got a relatively young quarterback. It's. All in is a strong term that I think applies in some cases. I think the Saints are right to shove everything at the end of Drew Brees. This guy's still good. Yeah. We got a good defense. Let's go do the thing.
This might be the window.
Exactly. And there are cases where all in applies. The Eagles is not one right now, and the Patriots are certainly not one right now with Drake May.
All right, so the Washington Wizards have apologized for an April Fool's skit in which they planted a fake fan and tricked him into believing he hit a half-court shot for $10,000.
Yeah.
They revealed it was scripted, but, social media didn't take that lightly. So apologizing for a fake April Fool's prank. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. So the guy that won the money, I use air quotes, he knew that was happening?
Yeah, no, so he was a planted fan.
Okay, good.
But, social media ran, how.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm all good with that. That's good. What you really can't do is the person thinks they've got $10,000 coming and they're not. That's like, that's tough.
Oh, it's evil.
So
not
you
even
can't-
tough.
you
That's
can't-
evil.
you can't do that.
No, $10,000 is life-changing money. No, that's evil. That's not
You
even.
think you want a steak dinner? Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's April Fool's. $10,000. We maybe not go that far.
So the point where I'm confused is that if they know it was a fake prank, like the Wizards, and they know they did this for everybody's attention.
Well, I apologize.
And you got the attention you wanted. Why apologize?
You
why
should.
apologize?
You
Like,
should.
that's what you wanted. You're the Wizards.
Social media needs to chill out. Everybody
Yes.
needs to chill out.
Thank you, Hunt. So after playing 5 games in the AAA, Connor Griffin is being called up to the majors. He will be the first teenage position player since 2018 with Juan Soto, the first teenager in his first 7 games of the season since Adrian Beltran, and he'll be the youngest since Andrew Jones in 97. So will Connor Griffin live up to the hype? Take it or leave it?
I'm going to leave it because
Okay.
those
Leave it
3
alone.
guys are going to the Hall of Fame.
So Hall of Famers.
Andrew Jones is already in. Adrian Beltre may
Just got
already
in.
be
I
in.
think he just got in.
Maybe in, and Juan Soto's going in. He's that good. Griffin's awesome, and I'm pulling for him to an extent. Now, if the Pirates elevate and can challenge the Cubs for the Central, I will not pull for him or Skeens. That's how that works. But in general, he signed with LSU. Okay, just don't break my heart like Bryce Terang does. So I got asked on radio a couple weeks ago who's the best LSU signee to move on and not play for LSU, because that's not a thing that a lot of people know about. I mean,
Yes.
Joey Gallo had a pretty good run at it, obviously. You've seen a really good effort out of Trevor Story at shortstop for the Rockies. Delino DeShields has been an MLBer for a bit. Bryce Terang's probably the best player now. He was with Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, but Connor Griffin's got the upside, and it might be him in time. Jacob Mizorowski, too. That's it for Take It or Leave It. That's it for us. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Matt's going to drive you home to start the weekend. For me, we're back Monday. It's Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. Got to tell you about First American Bank and Trust before we get on out of here. I got to get a haircut, but I'll tell you about First American Bank and Trust. Started up in 1910. Been here for 116 years. That means you're doing something right. And what they're doing right is being a community bank that's part of the fabric of the community and makes decisions that are beneficial to those in their community. That's what separates them from the national banks. So if you're looking for a banking partner, whether it's a commercial loan you're looking for, whether it's a personal loan you're looking for, First American Bank and Trust needs to be your first call, your first stop. They got 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. So whether you're right here outside of Baton Rouge and Jones Creek or Dutchtown, maybe you're up I-12 in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa, maybe down the bayou, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, no matter where you are, 25 locations of First American Bank and Trust. Local people, local to the community, local decisions. First American Bank and Trust, online at FABT.com.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last, because championships are built